G'day and welcome to Videodrome Cinema. This video is kind of just going to be my ramblings and my thoughts about what I thought and what I feel now after a week has passed, and I've kind of put my thoughts together about The Last Jedi. It's a really interesting, different, new way of looking at the Star Wars universe. I've been a fan of this universe for a very long time, and mostly because of the underlying things that it has to say. I remember a friend of mine has a t-shirt where it says everything I learned about life I learned from Star Wars, and it had a bunch of quotes from Yoda on it. Do or do not, there is no try, and so it's kind of like the life philosophy of the Force. And the reason I absolutely loved this film was because it brought back that feeling that I had back then of what the Force is kind of like telling us and what its philosophy is. Starting with the "Help me, Obi-Wan Kenobi, you're my only hope" kind of call to action and adventure that farm boy gets the message. He's lost and he's looking to the future, and he's looking away from the farm he's trapped on, and he wants to go to a pilot academy with his friends. He's wishing he knew his father, but all he's getting from his uncle is that, oh, your dad's bad news, stop wishing yourself away from here, and I need help on the farm, right? And then if we follow Luke's journey, we get to Dagobah and the training that Yoda tries to teach him to keep his mind on where he is right now. You know, the famous quote that never his mind on where he is, on what he's doing. That's the way Luke is in my mind. The way he was always looking off into the future, daydreaming and not doing what he's supposed to be doing right then, and being in the here and now. And if we look at the prequels and we look at the things that Yoda says, that fear leads to the dark side, and looking forward and being fearful and anxious about the future is what actually led Anakin to the dark side, that he was afraid of the future and he was afraid of the dreams he was having, that he was going to lose Padme. Then we also see that Luke can be turned or be drawn to the dark side, that he's always looking to the future fearfully and not being in the present, right? So like his father before him, his mind's never on where he is right now and what he's supposed to be doing. And actually in the Luke's quest is kind of not being a Jedi master and mastering all of that. It's turning Darth Vader back from the dark side and finding the good in him. Because he never actually completes his training. He doesn't stay on Dagobah. He runs off to help Han and Leia when he should be concentrating on his training, doing what he's supposed to be doing at that time, and not anxiously looking into the future of what's going to happen and straying from his training. It's kind of like this whole family drama where the Skywalkers kind of think that the Force is their own privilege, and Anakin and Luke kind of looking to the future and not actually mastering what the actual Jedi training is about, being in the present, that kind of Buddhist mentality that it's not exactly like that, but it's that Force feeling, or the way it's described by Ben, that it kind of binds the galaxy together, and it's the glue that holds every living being, and it's in everybody, and it's in the rocks and the trees and everything around us, and it binds the galaxy together. If we look at the vision that Rian Johnson had for Luke, there's been a lot of speculation that, and a lot of screaming online, that our hero Luke would never do this, he'd never be like this, and we hate this version of him. And I'm kind of always called back to the never his mind on where he was, what he was doing, when he's standing above his own nephew and he's thinking that I'm looking into the future and I fear this child, and instead of being his mind on where he was, what he's doing, and training that child to be a Jedi Master and to not be sucked in by the dark side, he turns on his lightsaber and he tries to kill him. if we take all of this out of the like space context and you just have an uncle standing in front of or above his nephew with a machete and he's about to kill him, of course that child's going to be traumatized. So Luke creates Kylo Ren by trying to kill Ben because his mind is not on what he's supposed to be doing right now. He never learnt that lesson on Dagobah. He ran to help Han and Leia. He's back in that same thing again, never his mind on where he's looking to the future, being anxious, fearful of what's going to be in the future, and that's the path to the dark side. He created Kylo Ren. It was a total dark side move to try to kill the kid. So in his shame, he cuts himself off from the Force, and it's kind of like, okay, we all love Luke, and he's our big hero, and he saved Darth Vader, but he's always kind of been this, like, childish, but I wanted to go to Tashi Station to pick up power converters, right? So in kind of like this childish move, he cuts himself off from the Force and hides on Ahch-To. And everything he does when he meets Rey, and he chucks the lightsaber away, and the milking the cow, and drinking the blue milk, and it's all that childish Luke. So I can see where it came from. I can understand why Rian Johnson thought that maybe this version of Luke would be more compelling and more... Not all of the characters that we see, they have this like hero worship, and little kids at the end play with the dolls, and they're us. And we have this vision of the Force and of Star Wars where they're our heroes and they're untouchable, and anytime anybody goes anywhere near them, they're not going to do it justice, right? And maybe in Rian Johnson's version, it's kind of like they're all people and we're all interconnected, and I think it's an absolutely beautiful sentiment that now the Force isn't just for the Skywalkers. The Force is for everyone, and anybody can be Force sensitive. I kind of had this weird feeling that I didn't know why he didn't go at the end of the film himself. Like raise up the X-Wing from the water, that he's not trying anymore, he's doing, and he goes. I kind of felt like maybe rushing to save them, and that way might have been the old Luke. And now he's using the Force and projecting himself there to give the chance that the rebels can escape. And maybe that's the reason that not rushing headlong into something that he couldn't change, that he becomes one with the Force at the end, and we see the two sons on Tatooine, and we kind of come full circle, that it's not his journey anymore. And I think it was an absolutely beautiful coming full circle to have Luke not run headlong into that, but to actually stay there and use the Force the way a Jedi Master would use the Force. And now that we have Kylo that Luke made from Ben, he's carrying that disappointment that Luke betrayed him, that he had to wipe out his past, that he had to kill his father, and he's the same as the Skywalker boys. He's throwing tantrums in The Force Awakens, and he's trying to find out who he is and where he comes from, and his Darth Vader obsession is about that. That, okay, I'm not going to the light side because the light side is Luke and he betrayed me, so I'm going to try the dark side and try to complete what Darth Vader started. And now I think in Rian Johnson's vision of what the Force means, we have Snoke starting to talk down to him and tell him that the entire Force Skype that I set up between you and Rey, because you're nothing and she's nothing and everybody's nothing, I'm the only one who's somebody here. Ben, betrayed by Luke, killed his own father, he's Kylo now. And nobody's going to tell him what to do and tell him he's nothing anymore, because it's actually Snoke who's nothing. And this is where I think that maybe what he told Rey was, if not a lie, then a truth from a certain point of view, from his own point of view, that you should be nothing with me too. Your parents, it doesn't matter who they are. My parents, doesn't matter that it's Han and Leia. It doesn't matter that my uncle is Luke. Just forget all of this and just be us. right here, right now in the present. And it's absolutely interesting that always what they kept saying, that the Jedi Master is mindful of the present, and it's actually Kylo who's forget the past and let's be in the present right now. Except his motivation for it is not to be a Jedi Master, it's for him and Rey to take over the galaxy. So I don't know if we have a light and a dark side anymore. It's going to be interesting to see what we get in the 9th part. And I, for one, can't wait. It's absolutely fascinating to see the little kids playing and then the Force-sensitive kid bringing the broom to his hand. It makes me feel like I can write that on this next census that, yep, I'm Jedi religion too, because anybody can now be Force-sensitive. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you agree with what I said, you can comment below. If you didn't, you can also comment below. Give us a like and a thumbs up, and come back and visit us soon. Thanks. Bye.